What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. I am using my brand new light ring that my daughter got me for Christmas. It's going to be providing me better lighting, better picture quality for you guys, so I'm really excited to be using it first time today. Today's video, I'm going to be polishing this beautiful piece of petrified wood that I've had in my collection for a while. I'm going to be polishing this on the Vibra Lap. A little bit of backstory on this piece. This piece is from McGlashan Lake, which is just outside of Kamloops, British Columbia. The cool thing about that petrified forest is it's almost lost now. So it was well known back in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. I guess it was severely picked over. Lots of people were abusing the area. Logging in the area is basically covered up all the trails that were leading into the area. It's a bit remote. And the few people left that know where the location is are keeping it kind of tight-lipped. So there's not a lot of material coming out of there anymore. And this is one of those pieces, which happens to be a fabulous piece. The petrified forest there is about 50 to 60 million years old. And it's made up of conifers. It's thought to be mostly sequoias and redwoods. Not exactly sure which piece this is, but this piece here has amazing details in it. You can see the growth rings. The growth rings it's a full round piece, as you can see. And the growth rings in it are kind of unique. They start down here and they kind of grow out this way. They fan out, as you can see. That leads me to believe that possibly this side of the tree grew up against another tree, or it was up against something where it was shaded from sunlight all the time. And this side of the tree got most of the rain and sun right here, and it just grew that way. That's kind of how I see it. There's really cool details in this. The reason why I want to polish this today is because it's been cut. I received it cut, and it had this, it looks like it's been attempted to be polished, but the polishing job on it is really subpar. I know it's silica, so it should polish nicely, but it's got no shine on it at all. It's got a little bit, you can see just a little bit there. It looks like it was cut and maybe done a couple of stages of polishing, and then it stopped there. So I'm going to not start from scratch. I'm not going to start at stage 1 in the Vibra Lap, but I'm going to start it in 120, 220, stage 2 grit. And we're going to run it from there and see if we can get this thing shined up a little bit better. It's nice and heavy. It's going to fit perfect on the Vibra Lap. It's about 5 inches across. I'm really looking forward to shining this piece up and maybe adding it to the shelf. I've had it for a while. It's one of the better pieces of petrified wood that I own, and you know, it's a really cool piece. You know, it's not the most spectacular petrified wood in the world, but the details in it are really cool. We're gonna go ahead and start polishing this right now. We'll get the Vibra Lap all ready, and we'll start it in stage 2. So it was turning a bit slowly, so I added some weight on the top. Now it's turning a little bit better. I might have put a little bit too much grit in there to start. It'll get turned into a slurry here pretty quick, and then it should start moving there pretty good. So we'll keep an eye on it for the next couple hours. But I plan on running this for about 10 hours today in stage 2, 120, 220 grit. We'll check back with you later. It's a few hours in. I added the Montana piece of petrified wood that I didn't finish the last time I polished some petrified wood. So I'm going to finish that one up now. And this BC piece is going. So probably got another 6 hours or so to go on this. And then we'll check back. Okay, that rock is done, stage 1. As you can see, it looks a lot different. What could possibly have happened? Well, what I can tell you is that this piece is dry and it's completely wiped free of grit. I cleaned it thoroughly. There's no grit on this. So this is the natural color of the surface. Some previous owner had bleached the surface of this piece of petrified wood and it came out a little bit grayish blue. You can do that to pieces. It'll lighten them up, especially dark black gray pieces like this. You can still see the growth rings. You can see my outer edges were polishing a little more shinier. Don't know why that was. I think it was because it was at the edge of the pan. Here, let me show you the piece wet. So this is what we can expect it to look like when it's finished, all polished up. So it's still not bad. I like the looks of it still. Black is not bad. I mean, it looks like it was a burnt piece of petrified wood. Still see the growth rings in it. So we're gonna keep going with this. Pretty disappointing that someone had to go to those lengths to do that, but I didn't pay for the piece, so I'm not stressing out over it. It's still a cool piece of petrified wood from a really rare petrified forest in Canada, so I'm cool with it. But we're going to continue on polishing this. I'm still interested in getting this all polished up. Still see a lot of details in it. So we're going to continue on now with stage 3, which is 500 grit aluminum oxide. My other piece of Montana petrified wood is still not finished, and it's not ready to move on, so I'm going to leave that. I'm going to leave that one for another time. It's being stubborn. We'll just continue on with this piece. This is the focus of the video. And we'll get the pan prepped right now. This pan's charged. As you can see, it's got some good circular motion. I kept the Montana piece in there just to give it a little space and keep it from wandering in the pan too much, because the piece is a little small. It's 5 inches, so it's only half the size of the pan. So just to fill up the pan a little more. So anyway, I'll let this run probably, I'll come check on it in 3 hours. I'll let it run probably 6 to 8 hours and then check on it, see how we are doing. This is it, stage 3, 500 grit aluminum oxide. So the rock's finished 500 grit aluminum oxide, and this is now 1200 grit aluminum oxide. I cleaned the pan, I switched everything out, and I have it running here. I'll show you what the rock looks like at the end of this stage. I'll run this for probably 10 hours. You can see it's vibrating a bit. The slurry's just not built up yet, so it'll calm down here in a second if I just give it a little adjustment. So we'll check back in a little bit. So here's the piece dry after 1200 grit. You can see the outside is polishing pretty nice, but the middle is just not taking a polish yet. And we only got the polishing stage left, so it looks like this piece is going to have some nice polished areas and some not so nice polished areas. But as you can see, it's pretty black. Quite a contrast to what it looked like at the beginning. But we're going to take a look at it after the final polish. I've got the pan all ready to go. Micro alumina polish is added and the pan is charged. And I'm going to add this right now. I got a brand new ring on there, so there's no contamination. And that pad is relatively new. It had a couple of uses. I shouldn't have to charge it too much because it's already got some alumina in it. So we're going to go ahead and run this now, and we'll probably run it for like 8 to 10 hours maybe, and then check back, see how it looks, and then we'll show the final product. Okay, so here's the piece finished. It is done. As you can see, it is vastly different from what we started with. I'll put a little picture up here in the upper right hand corner of what we started with. But yeah, as I explained, I'm pretty sure this piece was bleached, and probably because they had polished it originally and found it was black, didn't like what they saw, and they bleached it, and it turned like a bluish gray. But you can still see there's lots of good detail in here. You can see these black, the really black bits here. You see how well of a shine they took, mirror shine. And then there's this little pocket here and a little bit over here. It just seems like it didn't polish as good. And anyway, we're still happy with that. Looks pretty sharp. Really nice exterior skin. I'm happy with this. I'll put this on my display shelf and display it proudly. I actually prefer it this way. I just rather something to be in its truer form. I don't really want to misrepresent what it actually is by bleaching, so I'm glad we did this. and I'm happy. So with that, I want to thank everybody for watching, and if you like our content, please like, comment, subscribe. And as always, have a great week, and we will catch you on the next one.